Everyone always tells you to either use a derma roller to enhance the hair growth or to completely stay away from it because of the obvious risks. So I tried the derma stamp instead, and it actually worked just as good without any drawbacks. Oils, serums, shampoos, especially massages तुम्हारी hair growth को बहुत affect कर सकते हैं in a positive way. But things like derma roller and derma stamp work even better because they utilize your own blood to enhance your hair growth from the inside. अगर तुम उन्हें सही से use कर सको without causing any damage. I've had long hair for over 7 years now, so I've literally tested dozens of routines and tools. और इसीलिए मैंने derma roller को last 5 years से अपने routine में include किया हुआ था for the hairline. But now I've found a better alternative. So this is not a comparison video. The derma stamp is already a better alternative in my opinion, mainly because of 3 reasons. 1. Less damage. डर्मा रोलर को जब तुम अपनी स्किन पे रोल करते हो तो रोल करने की वजह से उसके नीडल्स तुम्हारी स्किन पे अननेसेसरी डैमेज इन्फ्लिक्ट करते हैं, विच इज़ नॉट एन इशू विद द डर्मा स्टैम्प. नंबर 2, ईज ऑफ यूज़. अगर तुमने डर्मा रोलर यूज़ किया है तो तुम्हें पता होगा कि उसके रोलर में कई बार बाल फंस जाते हैं और टूट भी जाते हैं, पर डर्मा स्टैम्प में रोल होने वाला कोई कंपोनेंट है ही नहीं. नंबर 3, यूजेबिलिटी. डर्मा रोलर्स के नीडल्स ऑफ्टन फिक्स्ड लेंथ के होते हैं, which means you'll need to buy multiple rollers if you have multiple use cases like beard and hairline or skin. But still, a derma stamp does also come with its own set of risks and mistakes that you can very easily make जो तुम्हारी skin को बहुत आसानी से damage कर सकते हैं. So in this video, I'll tell you exactly the mistakes to avoid, how to avoid them, along with a very simple and easy to follow derma stamp routine जिसे तुम आज से ही शुरू कर सकते हो. But before that, let me very quickly give you a little context about both, so you understand why I think you should go with the stamp instead of the roller अगर तुमने अभी दोनों में से कुछ भी यूज़ नहीं किया है. And by the way, अगर तुम हेयर ग्रोथ प्रोडक्ट्स यूज़ कर रहे हो पर अपने स्कैल्प में ब्लड फ्लो को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हो, you're already limiting the results, and that's exactly where tools like derma stamp and scalp massager will help you very well. Between derma roller and derma stamp, it can be a little difficult to find out which will work the best for you, because when you search micro needling for hair, you'll find derma rollers everywhere. पर प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हर कोई अपने स्कैल्प पे रोल ही कर रहा है, copying each other, hoping for growth, and that's exactly where I was a few weeks back. मैंने भी अपने रूटीन में डर्मा रोलर को ही ऐड करके स्टार्ट किया था, and I used it for years. मैंने प्रॉपर रूटीन्स फॉलो करे, ट्यूटोरियल्स फॉलो करे और उसको प्रॉपरली क्लीन भी किया. बट स्टिल, every time I used it, something felt off. But I never really gave anything else a chance because everyone online said roller or stamp, it's the same thing. But in reality, both of them work very differently. Especially अगर तुम उन्हें अपने स्कैल्प पे यूज करने वाले हो. रोलर तुम्हारे स्कैल्प पे नीडल्स को ड्रैग करता है at an angle which causes unnecessary damage and sometimes even micro tears. While a derma stamp goes straight in and straight out, तो उसकी डेप्थ हमेशा सेम रहेगी, प्रेशर ऑलमोस्ट हमेशा सेम रहेगा, कंट्रोल ज़्यादा रहेगा और डैमेज कम. That's why stamping feels more precise and safer, but still there are a number of mistakes that you can very easily make जो तुम्हारी स्किन और स्कैल्प को बहुत आसानी से डैमेज कर सकते हैं. So let me very quickly tell you the mistakes and how to avoid them, and then I'll tell you a very simple and easy to follow routine for using the stamp. And by the way, most people think that hair growth tools fail because they don't work, but in reality, they are used in a way that stresses the scalp. I tried it, it didn't work. Most of the times, statements like this come from these exact mistakes. So let me tell you how to avoid them when using a stamp. So while most videos tell you how to use this tool, which is basically just pressing it against the skin, here are 5 mistakes that you should avoid from day 1. And the most critical mistake is not applying anything after stamping. You see, stamping के बाद तुम्हारा scalp highly absorbent हो जाता है for a few hours. तो अगर इस टाइम पे तुम अपना हेयर ग्रोथ सीरम या तुम्हारा और कोई भी ट्रीटमेंट जो तुम यूज कर रहे हो अप्लाई नहीं करोगे, you're already wasting half the benefit. It's like opening the fuel cap of your car and not putting the gas inside, which then makes you believe it doesn't work. पर इससे ज़्यादा गलत होगा फ्यूल टैंक में पेट्रोल की जगह पानी डाल देना, which happens when you don't clean the tool properly. Poor hygiene. Using a dirty stamp is one of the fastest ways to get irritation, pimples and infection on your scalp. और जैसे ही तुम्हें इनमें से कुछ भी होगा, you will be forced to stop using the stamp and your consistency will suffer. बहुत लोग ऑनलाइन अल्कोहल यूज करने के लिए बोलते हैं to clean the stamp properly, but I have found अगर तुम इसको properly wash भी करके रखोगे, it won't cause any issues. But what will cause issues is overusing it. कुछ लोग डर्मा स्टैम्प्स और रूलर्स को डेली यूज करते हैं, कुछ वीक में 3 बार यूज करते हैं और कुछ वीक में 1 बार. But I found that using it every time you wash your hair is a very good idea if you have long hair. क्योंकि तुम्हारे स्कैल्प को टाइम चाहिए होता है हील करने के लिए, रीबिल्ड करने के लिए. Because that healing phase is where growth happens. But if you use it too often, that growth never happens. So once a week or every time you wash your hair is enough. More is not better in this situation. And the same goes for the pressure that you apply. I know, some people think the more it hurts, the more it works. पर डर्मा स्टैम्प्स और रोलर्स के लिए इससे ज़्यादा गलत बात मैंने अपनी लाइफ में नहीं सुनी. हम डर्मा स्टैम्पिंग या रोलिंग करते हैं अपने स्कैल्प में माइक्रो चैनल्स बनाने के लिए, उसको डैमेज करने के लिए नहीं. So if you're pressing down so hard that your scalp is burning, bleeding or getting sore the next day, तुम अपनी हेयर ग्रोथ को स्लो डाउन कर रहे हो, स्पीड अप नहीं. Remember, your body is a gift. Don't abuse it. But one of the most critical mistakes that make people quit early is expecting results too fast because they don't understand that hair growth works in cycles. Real changes take at least 8 to 12 weeks to even start showing. So if you're not ready to be patient, don't start yet. But if you are ready, here's a very simple and easy to follow routine to use the stamp properly. And by the way, no derma stamp, rollers or any other topical treatments can help you अगर तुम उन्हें एक simple और easy to follow routine में fit नहीं कर सकते जिसे तुम consistently follow कर सको. The routine that you should follow to use a derma stamp is probably the simplest and the easiest one. And while most routine online are either too complicated or too careless, which makes people either quit or mess it up, this routine maintains the balance. Because I've been using it for at least 6 weeks now, and it starts with a clean scalp. But before you do anything, clean or sanitize the stamp properly to avoid irritations and infections, and then you can start stamping. Straight up, straight down. Try to avoid any movements or dragging for obvious reasons, and now your scalp is ready for the hair growth serum. जो भी hair growth serum या और कोई भी topical hair growth treatment तुम use कर रहे हो, उसको अप्लाई करने का अभी बेस्ट टाइम होगा while your scalp is still active and absorbent. And try not to wash it off for at least 6 to 8 hours. Just repeat it once a week or every time you wash your hair if you have long hair. Simple, effective, but more importantly, sustainable. The tool, the method and the routine. You've got it all. But still, always remember a few things. इस दुनिया का कोई भी hair growth tool magical tool नहीं है. और as such, कोई भी टूल तुम्हें overnight results नहीं दे सकता. But when you use the same things in the right way, it works like magic. And now you know the right way. You know why the stamp can be better than the roller, the mistakes that ruin the results, and the exact routine that you should start with. But if you want to see how I combine this with my full hair routine, oiling, massaging, nutrition, I've linked my uncut hair routine video in the pinned comment. That video has got a lot more going on than this. But whatever you watch next, always remember, I love you. Thank you for everything.